Ladies, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why a man suddenly stops trying, stops chasing, and starts acting like your presence is guaranteed? Here's the truth. What comes too easy often goes unnoticed, and what's always available loses its value. In relationships, availability is everything. If a man knows that he can call you anytime, show up unannounced, or text you at midnight and you'll always respond, he no longer feels the need to pursue. Why should he? There's no challenge, no mystery, no effort required, and when there's no effort, there's no value. Think about it. How do people treat things they work hard to get? With care, with respect, with gratitude. Now compare that to how they treat things handed to them freely. The same psychology applies to love. When you're constantly available, you send an unspoken message. I have nothing more important than you. But you do. You have goals, dreams, a life to build. A high-value woman doesn't cancel her world for a man. She fits him into her world when he proves he deserves to be there. That's not being cold. That's knowing your worth. When a man has to earn your time, he sees every moment with you as a gift, not a given. He pays attention. He shows up. He respects your time because he knows it's not endless or guaranteed. Always being available doesn't just kill mystery, it kills momentum. In the beginning, love thrives on the unknown, the anticipation, the thrill of the chase. But if you're always just a text away, always ready, always waiting, the fire fades. He doesn't need to guess, doesn't need to wonder, doesn't need to work, and soon he doesn't need to try. And here's the thing, it's not about playing games, it's about living fully. When you're focused on your passions, your growth, your peace, you're not constantly checking your phone. You're busy becoming your best self. And that is magnetic. That confidence, that independence, that self-worth, it's irresistible. Men are drawn to women who don't need them to feel complete. A woman who knows she's whole on her own attracts a man who's ready to rise to her level, not one who takes her for granted. Being too available also creates a dangerous imbalance. Relationships are supposed to be mutual. Give and take, not give and give. If you're always giving, your time, your energy, your love, without asking for anything back, you end up empty, unseen, unappreciated. A man should earn your attention. He should know that being with you is a privilege, not a right. If he's not consistent, don't reward him with consistency. If he doesn't prioritize you, stop making him your priority. When you pull back, you give him space to step up. Yes, to me, he doesn't. That's your answer. Because the truth is, men don't value what they don't work for. If you accept the bare minimum, that's all he'll ever give. If you don't demand more, he won't offer more. Why would he? People take the path of least resistance. So if you allow excuses, last-minute cancellations, broken promises, and still show up like nothing happened, you're telling him that your standards are negotiable. And once that line is crossed, it's hard to rebuild respect. So let this be your reminder. Respect yourself first. Value your time. Set boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to be missed. Because the right man, he'll rise to meet you. The wrong one, he'll fade when the effort is required. And that's exactly how it should be. That's the trap. When you always accept less, you unknowingly teach him that he doesn't have to do more. He learns that your love, your time, and your energy are his by default, no effort required. And that's exactly when the cycle begins. At first, it starts with something small. He forgets to call, and you brush it off. He breaks a promise or doesn't follow through, and you make excuses for him. He reaches out at the last minute with barely thought out plans, and you say yes anyway. Every time you let it slide, every time you silence your own needs to accommodate his behavior, you lower your own standard. You're reinforcing the idea that the bare minimum is enough to keep you. But let's be honest, men don't value what they don't have to work for. If you pour your love, energy, and time into someone who puts in little to no effort, you're creating a one-sided dynamic. You're doing all the work while he's cruising along, comfortable in the knowledge that you'll always be there, no matter what. And if he's already getting what he wants without lifting a finger, why would he ever change? Take a moment to reflect. What are the things people value most in life? The ones they worked hard for, the things that demanded time, dedication, and persistence. Those are the things they hold closest. Relationships are no different. When an ageist man has to work for your time, when he knows it's earned, not given, he values it. He cherishes it. But if you hand it over freely, without expectation, he won't see you as someone worth fighting for. When a man truly cares, he doesn't just say it, he shows it. He shows up, he communicates, he makes plans and follows through. He's on time, he listens, he's consistent, and he does these things not because you nagged or begged him to, but because he wants to. That's the difference between a man who values you and one who just enjoys the convenience of having you around. But if you continue accepting the bare minimum, you'll always feel like something's missing. You'll keep wondering, why don't I feel loved? Why do I always feel like I'm giving more than I'm getting? The answer is simple. Because you are. A relationship should be a partnership. Two people, two efforts, two hearts working together. Anything less isn't love, it's imbalance. And here's a hard truth. A man will only do what you allow. If you let him disrespect you, he will. If you let him ignore your emotional needs, he will. If you let him treat you as an afterthought, he will. But if you set a standard, if you make it clear that you expect respect, consistency, and real effort, he will either rise to meet it, or he'll leave. And if he leaves, let him. Don't chase after someone who won't even walk towards you. A man unwilling to put in the effort was never your man to begin with. Some women fear setting boundaries because they think it'll push men away. But listen closely. If your standards scare him off, he was never strong enough to stand beside you. A man who truly wants you will rise. He'll step into your world with honor. He won't see effort as a burden. He'll see it as a privilege. Because real men respect real women who respect themselves. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you let him be inconsistent, he will. If you let him come and go when it suits him, he will. But if you demand better, if you hold steady to your standards, you'll repel the wrong ones and attract the right one. The one who doesn't make you question your worth. The one who doesn't need convincing to show up. And don't ever let loneliness trick you into settling. Don't accept crumbs just to have someone at the table. You are not hard to love. You're just requiring the love that's real. The kind that doesn't make you beg for time, attention, or respect. The kind of love that sees your value and shows up for it. And one more thing. Stop over-explaining yourself. It's one of the fastest ways to lose power in a relationship. When you feel the need to explain every feeling, justify every boundary, or convince him of your decisions, you're giving away your strength. A confident woman speaks her truth and stands by it. She doesn't ask for permission to feel what she feels. She doesn't offer long speeches for why she said no. She simply sets her boundary and moves on. And that quiet strength, that unshakable clarity, it commands respect. When you over-explain, You invite argument. You invite him to dissect your reasons, test your limits, and push your boundaries. But when you're direct and firm, you leave no room for negotiation. You show him you are not someone who can be talked out of her truth. Saying, "I don't appreciate being canceled on last minute," is enough. You don't owe him a paragraph. The more you explain, the more room he has to twist your words or make excuses. And if a man needs a 10-minute speech to understand how to treat you right, he's not your man. Hold your standards. Own your boundaries. Walk in your worth, because the moment you do, the wrong ones fall away, and the right one steps in, and that's the key. When you stop over-explaining, you start standing in your power, because the moment you feel the need to justify every feeling or boundary, you begin to give away the very confidence that should define you. Instead of going into a long speech, what if you simply said, "I don't accept last-minute cancellations. Period. No excuses, no extra fluff." That single sentence carries more weight than a paragraph full of rationalizations. Why? Because it's firm, it's clear, and it shows that you're not asking for permission, you're stating a standard. A confident woman's words are powerful, not because she speaks louder, but because she speaks with certainty. She doesn't dilute her message with excessive justifications. She lets her actions and her self-respect do the talking. And believe this, men are deeply attracted to women who are sure of themselves. There's something magnetic about a woman who knows what she wants and doesn't waver to be liked. On the flip side, when you constantly explain your actions, feelings, or decisions, it signals insecurity. It subtly tells a man that you are unsure of yourself. And unfortunately, that makes it easier for him to dismiss your needs, your boundaries, and your voice. He may start to believe he has room to negotiate your standards. And that's where respect begins to erode. Now think of the women you admire, the ones who walk into a room and command attention. Do they over-explain? Do they plead to be understood? No. They state what they mean and expect it to be heard. They carry a silent power, an energy that speaks louder than words. And that's the kind of presence that attracts high-quality men. Men who respect, not question, a woman's strength. Over-explaining doesn't just weaken your message, it makes you appear overly emotional. And while your emotions are absolutely valid, repeatedly justifying yourself with long-winded reasoning can make it seem like you're being ruled by feelings instead of grounded values. Men tend to respect women who can express their emotions calmly, directly, and with clarity. You don't have to hide how you feel, but you also don't have to defend it with every breath. If something bothers you, say it. If you have a boundary, enforce it, and let that be enough. The moment you start to over-explain, you shift the focus away from your standards and onto his approval. But here's the truth. You don't need to convince a man to respect you. You don't have to beg him to see your worth. The right man already does. The wrong one never will, no matter how many words you use to explain yourself. Over-explaining is often an attempt to control how someone perceives you. But a truly confident woman doesn't chase perceptions. She owns her truth, stands tall in it, and lets her life reflect her value. She doesn't waste her energy trying to make someone see her worth because she already knows it. And that energy you spend over-explaining. It's draining. It pulls away from your peace, your purpose, and your power. Imagine what could happen if you channeled that energy into building yourself, into your goals, your passions, your happiness. A man who genuinely values you won't need paragraphs to understand where you're coming from. He will listen, adjust, and show respect in return. In a healthy relationship, communication is straightforward. You don't have to repeat yourself. You don't have to break down every emotion. When a man truly cares, he listens, he respects, and he responds with action, not arguments. But if you find yourself constantly justifying your needs to a man who isn't changing, isn't listening, and isn't showing up, then maybe the real question is this even the right man for you? Men, don't respond well to over-explaining, because it disrupts the natural balance of power in the relationship. When a woman is secure in who she is, she doesn't need to overtalk her value. She lives it. And a man who respects women, he sees that. He doesn't need a long list of reasons to treat her well. He knows her worth by the way she carries herself, by the way she speaks her truth, and by the way she walks away when she isn't respected. A man will take you as seriously as you take yourself. So if you say something, and then immediately try to soften it or explain it away, you weaken your position. But when you speak with kindness, confidence, and finality, you leave no room for misinterpretation. He knows you mean what you say, and that's what earns real respect. So stop over-explaining. Stop justifying your standards, your choices, and your boundaries to a man who hasn't even earned the right to question them. You don't owe anyone an explanation for loving yourself. You don't need permission to expect effort, respect, and consistency. The right man won't need convincing. He'll recognize your worth from the start.